We're here to kick butt and chew bubblegum. And actually, there's a whole lot of gum.
Hello and welcome to This Week at the Thirsty Mage. I'm your host, Casey Gibson, and joining me as always is my fellow video game aficionado, Mr. David Lloyd.
Always happy to be here and talk video games with you, Casey.
Yes, always a good time. And this week, we didn't, sort of a slow news week, so instead of going that route, we've decided to check out the latest free-to-play game, which just hit the Switch recently. Very much a Splatoon meets Fortnite style game, trying to cash in a little bit on both fan bases, and that is Ninjala.
Yeah, it's definitely looking to cash in, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, they've got their Battle Pass primed and ready to rock and roll there, so you can get all those wacky upgrades and stuff. But this is a game. Going into it, you try and go into a game unbiased, right? You want to go in neutral, form an opinion. But I've just heard a bunch of things about this game not really being that great. But to my surprise, it wasn't that bad. I was expecting bad, and it really wasn't too bad. But I guess before we get into our opinions too much, let's just talk about what this game is. And I figured, do you want to lay down the law of exactly what Ninjala is?
Sure. So it's I didn't catch quite the whole story. It's got a neat little YouTube video when you start up the game, and essentially what it is you're one of many ninjas in this, like you said, a Splatoon-y type game, a little battle royale where there's an arena. And each ninja has a weapon that they can use that's made from bubblegum. So you kind of run around the arena and you attack these robot drones that add to your gum inventory, I guess. It's a little
your
gauge
gum meter.
Yeah, your gum meter. And so as you're building up the gum meter, you can build yourself bigger, stronger weapons. But at the same time, you're also attacking other ninjas in the process. And so it's this kind of strategy game of, do you go after the other contestants right off the bat, or do you, build up your supplies by attacking these drones to have the stronger weapons? And yeah, it's a little bit, it's Battle Royale in the sense that there's, I believe there's 8 different competitors that get put in, and you have to, the strategy involved is basically that, is the, do you build up your weapon, or do you go right after? And then the attacks themselves are like battling, or there's some strategy there too, because if you both, there's different moves that you can use, like you have your this little baton, or there's a few different options that you can choose, and then you could also shoot bubble gum, like bubbles at your opponents. There's a meter where you can build up, where you can do like a special attack, like a tornado. You can run and scale up walls and jump all over the place. You do double jumps. It's pretty neat that way, in the sense that there's a lot of components to it that you can master to become much better. But at the end of the day, it's like you said, it's kind of looking at that Fortnite model of going in, and you have the battle passes that. As you build up points and win matches, that you can trade in your earnings for different clothes and different looking weapons and that sort of thing. But that's the general idea of sucking you into this kind of battle royale. It's kind of got a very Splatoon look to it.
Yeah, it's funny. Like you said, they coined the name Battle Royale, but it really just feels like a free-for-all. It's not a shooter per se, but it feels much more akin to like a free-for-all Call of Duty match. The map isn't that large.
No.
You can access the entire map at at any point. It's not necessarily like what you would think with Battle Royale, where a dome or a circle isn't closing in, where it's forcing people into a tight spot. So, like I said, it feels more like a free-for-all. Obviously, they're using Battle Royale because that's the hot thing at the moment. But yeah, it's interesting. You can change up your weapon types. So you start with sort of like a baton or like a sword kind of weapon. But I saw people had like yo-yos and different kind of, and like big ass
drill,
hammers
I think.
and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're definitely, and then visually, yeah, like I unlocked it. It was like a corn on the cob. Like it was just a huge piece of corn on the cob. So yeah, very playful, very fun aesthetic. Like you said, definitely feels very Splatoon. But what's interesting is, I feel like, you know, with Splatoon, it's the movement is so fast. You know, you're laying paint down, you're zipping through the paint. This game, a much more slow-paced, and it's not necessarily that the game is like super slow or anything, but just when you're running around, it feels a little slow. Now, you do have like a dash, but that's on a cooldown, so you can only use that, you know, sparingly, and that might be something you want to save for more of a strategic element within a battle, more so than just getting somewhere quick. Now, like you said, you can sort of dictate, like, do you want to go for the drones? Because they do at the end of the match give you a bonus for whoever got the most drones. So you're getting points, and then if you get a lot of them, obviously you're going to have a lot of points, and then you can potentially earn that bonus at the end of the match. So for me, at the onset, like, that was my first goal, was like, let me just get these drones, and then as you sort of get the combat down a little bit better, I was able to get more of these kills. Now, what's interesting is you engage enemies, you know, like you were saying, you got some special powers that really wreak havoc, but if you both sort of attack and you use a parry, then all of a sudden it almost goes into this very rock, paper, scissors mini battle within it. So you guys sort of lock, you know, lock weapons, and all of a sudden you can either go left, right, up, or down. Now, in the beginning, I don't know if I just wasn't 100% paying attention to the tutorial at this point, or if it just really didn't, it didn't really do a great job. So I went online and looked it up, and yeah, it's, now I believe it's if you, like, go up, like if the other person attacks up and you go left or right, you're gonna win. If they go down, like, again, left, right, and then I guess if you go left or right, then up or down works. I don't know the exact, but in the beginning I felt like I was losing all of them, and then after reading that and sort of looking at it, I did much better. Now, it still felt a bit random at times, which I guess rock, paper, scissors, you know, is sort of, you know, randomly, you know, sort of a random situation anyway. But knowing the idea at least helped me feel better about it. And it was funny, you know, I played a handful of matches, and each time I was doing, like, I started out real bad, and then I ended up actually winning that last one. But what's cool is, I guess, there are Ippons, I guess, an Ippon kill?
Yeah.
I don't know how you say it. Like, if you kill them, I believe, with one of your, like, special moves, like one of the bubblegum moves or something, I guess, they go splatting into the wall with gum, and they get stuck, and you get extra points. And they also give a bonus to the person with the most amount of those kills. So it gives you two rewards, like you said, sort of, hey, you get a bonus for collecting materials, hey, you get a bonus for killing as many people as you can. So you sort of want to balance those. Ideally, you know, you want to get them both, but obviously that's not always going to happen. But yeah, like I said, I think for me, the combat was, it's not bad, it's not great. Running up and down the walls, like, cool, but, you know, I almost didn't really utilize it that much. I mean, they're not, like, the drones aren't up on the walls where you could go do that. I guess you could use it to sort of evade your enemy, you know, but, yeah, I don't know. That, you know, like, I guess obviously going along the ninja theme, it makes sense, but as far as the gameplay, and granted, you know, I didn't play a ton of this, so maybe down the road, people who are really invested are doing crazy moves off the walls and stuff too, so, but, yeah, I mean, not awful, you know, like I said, I came in thinking, like I said, yeah, I hate to do it, but I came in with, in my mind, like, oh, this isn't going to be a great experience, but it was definitely better than I thought it was going to be. I just don't think it has that factor that oh my god, I need to come back and play more of this factor. I don't know if you felt along the same lines as that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it has expectations can dictate a lot, because I had the same thing where people I talked to were kind of giving me, you know, it's a kind of a ho-hum type of combat, so I dug the presentation. I thought they did a great, I think they nailed the presentation. Like, I've always enjoyed the Splatoon look, and they they do enough to differentiate themselves from Splatoon itself, but yet it's still got a nice, colorful aesthetic, and it looks beautiful when you're playing. I enjoy, like you said, I enjoy the moves. I guess my biggest thing is the fun factor seems to be missing. Like, I don't think this is... It might be something that they can evolve with. Like, maybe down the road they figure out how to make it a little bit more fun. Because, yeah, like, my biggest thing is that I see where they're going with the strategy, but I didn't feel like the strategy was being employed. I felt it was more just a slap fest, you know, like I see him, he sees me, we slap each other around, we do like the rock paper scissors, and you know, one of us wins and we move on. Maybe it's because it's too new that there's not enough strategy. Maybe you kind of have to play,
but the meta's not there.
Yeah, but I mean, the difference with this between something like Splatoon is that even when you don't know how to play Splatoon, you're still having fun. Like, there's still more fun to it. Like, I didn't like, it didn't have that you know, oh, one more match attitude. Like, I just like, oh, okay, this is all right, you know. But it's missing a je ne sais quoi, I guess you'd say. something a little bit more to hook you in. Like, I don't even know what it would be necessarily. Maybe more strategy, some new moves or something, or maybe some, like, that Ippon kills were pretty neat when you like shot someone across the arena and they splatted against the wall. Like, maybe more of that or something. I don't know. Like, but
maybe more to do with the arena itself. You know, where in Splatoon, a lot of the different maps, you have rotating pieces that, you know, change, you know, or with the tides and everything. Like, there's a lot going on with each stage. This one just feels very stagnant. The drones come up in the same spots. In fact, after one disappears, there's actually like a little circular dial that tells you when it's going to come back next, which, you know, I guess is beneficial because you can say, oh, like, you know, corner your eye, all right, I see that one is not going to be ready for a little bit of time, but like I could sort of gauge in my head when to go back over that way. But yeah, I don't know. Like you said, yeah, it's not bad. But yeah, it didn't have that oh my god factor. I need to keep playing this. And in these free-to-play games, especially when you're trying to get people to buy a battle pass, you know, which I'm actually a fan of the battle pass generally. Like, I think if you're going to invest time in a free-to-play game, you put down, I don't know how much this one costs, but like for Fortnite, I believe it's like $10. You know, if you play a lot, you get all these cool rewards, and I'm earning actual currency back that I can use for the next battle pass, you know. So I think as far as like DLC, like this one doesn't feel as predatory as other ones, you know, with the like the battle pass sort of formula or format. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it's not oh my god, I need to keep coming back to play more. And ultimately, that's sort of what you need in a free-to-play game, because you want people to get invested to the fact where they do want to drop a couple dollars, you know what I mean? So, but definitely better than I thought it would be, and, you know, it's for free, so it can't hurt to give it a shot, you know, see if you sort of jive with it. But yeah, interesting idea, you know, with everything. Like you said, the aesthetic's cool, but just, like you said, it's missing that spice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something, I don't know if I'll be playing it anymore, but I might keep my eye on it, because if like you said, if they have some more interesting level design later on, or if they add that spice, it's something, like you said, it's free, so it could be one of those games where it eventually morphs into something that's just kind of like a bite-size play here and there to kind of cleanse the palate for the next big game, so...
For the next 80-hour RPG that we dive into.
That's right. But yeah, right now I'm a few matches was enough for me, but I'll keep my eye on it.
Cool. Well, that's going to be it for this week on the Thirsty Mage. We hope you enjoyed the show and would consider liking and subscribing down below. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at the handle @TheThirstyMage. And if you're an RPG fan, which again, of course you are, you're here watching us, make sure to check out the weekly podcast. It's on old RPGs, retro RPGs. We just did Xenoblade Chronicles and Trails of Cold Blood 3. We've got Star Tropics up on the docket. So wide range of games, you know, for anyone out there. Definitely awesome. We love doing it, so we think you guys love listening to it too. So please check that out. And until next week, we'll see you then.